Hello, everybody, and welcome to CiiTech TV. This morning we have Michelle Garrity-Corns joining us from EternalBeing. And I personally met Michelle only very recently, but as organizations, we've been working together for, I believe, well over a year. Michelle is the owner, operator, founder of EternalBeing, which is a really, really exciting detox clinic. I'm going to hand over to you now, Michelle. You can give our viewers a little bit of an intro to who you are and what you do. And then we can jump in there with some of those exciting questions we have. So over to you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me today to join you. So my name's Michelle Garrity-Corns. I'm the founder and head practitioner of EternalBeing Detox Clinics. I set EternalBeing up over 20 years ago now. When you say it out loud, that's quite scary, but it was to bring a holistic approach to the whole laundry list of issues that aren't easily resolved by Western medicine practices alone. So we started focusing on complaints on the gut and the digestion, and this has quickly expanded into nutrition, blood testing, detox, wellness, mental health, hypnotherapy, counseling, healing therapies, including breathwork and coaching. But we always come back to this little baby down here, the gut.
I was going to ask you because, you know, I always have this thing about the placebo effect and about stress. That stress, on the one hand, we make ourselves sick, and placebo effect, we make ourselves well. The power of the mind is very powerful. But it is interesting how, you know, you mentioned about coming back to the gut. You mentioned your laundry list. You start with digestion. Why is that? What's the connection? Why is it so important?
Oh, it's everything. So basically, if our bodies don't go into something called parasympathetic nervous system, which means rest and digest, it won't work. It seriously won't work, which will then affect our digestion, which will affect our hormones, which will affect the way that our body physically and mentally feels. So it fuels our muscles and it removes our toxins. But that's just tip of the iceberg. So if the balance isn't there, the body's not well. And studies have shown that a healthy digestion holds the key to our mental health, weight control, longevity, and importantly, chronic illness. So if you don't look at both sides of it, then basically the long-term conditions can be horrific. And that's what we've seen with people being on long-term medications. And then they come to us and we target the issues that they've got.
It's interesting because I know that even from my wife's perspective, and many people I know, using CBD to relieve stress for relaxation really can help symptoms of IBS and Crohn's and many of these other these gut illnesses that seem to be very rampant in mankind nowadays. Can you give us a bit of background? How is it that you found CBD, and why is it that you felt that CBD might be a good compound for your patients, for your customers?
Wow. Okay. So let's break that question down. Oh, questions. So
questions.
Yeah. So personally, for myself, I experienced digestion issues from the age of 5 years old, and was given lots of different medications which made it worse. But it was down to, as well, more importantly, what I see in the clinic. So clients were coming to me with a wealth of knowledge of doing on the internet, doing their own research, and in demand from our regular clients and how CBD would fit the bill for them in so many of their situations. So it was a big challenge for us to find the same research into finding a fantastic provider. So it took us, and I know you mentioned that we've been with you for a year. We've actually been with you longer than that. But literally we took over a year to find a provider, and we trialed and tested them for over a year. And that was fun, but they weren't consistent. And then we found yourselves and we found CiiTech, and that's where the magic began for us. We believe that CBD, CiiTech itself, is the only thing in the manufacturers available in the UK that their products are regulated to the highest standard, ensuring that we feel that EternalBeing are the best and, more importantly, the safest products available that is consistent every single time. And for us, that proves so many different areas of what we do within the clinic. And we've seen it with our clients using them on a daily basis for so many different complaints that they've got going on in their body, to get them into that rest and digest, that parasympathetic, getting them relaxed.
This was, and it's interesting, so this was very important to us, because we knew when I formed the companies, I think it's over 3 years ago now, I saw, it was very, very simple. There's a lot of products in the market. It's a super competitive industry. But that does not match in any way the amount of education that's out there about the product or about the brand. More importantly, brands. Anybody can go to Google and search and read and learn about things. But once you decide that CBD, for example, might be good for you, then where do you go from there? How do you then evaluate the hundreds, thousands of brands? So we saw very quickly that what we needed to do was to build trust. And when you've not got doctors prescribing or even pharmacists dispensing, then it's people like yourself, it's practitioners like yourselves that are kind of that next buffer for customers, for patients to get hold of therapeutics. So we really saw that we had to build trust, with the research that we did, but also working with people like you. So I mean, It's great to hear these stories from you. Can you tell us a little bit about the research that you discovered? Because I know you, as you mentioned, you did do a lot of research about the clinical studies that are going on, and the results that are possible.
I've looked at so many. So just to look at a couple, look, going back to 2008, 2011, that's where the early studies were looking at IBS, and it basically showed so much that basically going into the parasympathetic nervous system, and how that worked for that body to relax. So things start to mechanically work in the body. The other knowledge and explores other treatments for us was to bring them into the treatments that we do within the clinic. And then basically we found other studies that I'm really passionate about. And that is looking at spectrum disorders for gut bio, which really excites me. But that's CBD, but that's separate, that we're looking at and exploring at the moment. But I'm looking forward to more research happening to just back up everything that we're doing in the clinic itself, and also what you guys are doing research-wise as well. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to the future.
Aren't we all? So listen, I want to dig in a little bit more, because obviously, CBD's got, it's a big buzzword, and everybody's talking about CBD for everything, which is complex and problematic in itself. But I want to touch on something that you mentioned about bringing it into your clinic with your existing treatments. So I think that's to me, that's super important, because it's not just about about dieting to get fit. You've got to diet and exercise. You can tell us a little bit about how CBD does kind of work, as an adjunct or together with your other treatments. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, so we have curated treatments that give our clients a choice. So they can have CBD in the treatment or not. So we don't push the products or treatments on our clients. So we provide them support and information, and then they have a choice. But in the end, a lot of our clients, as I previously said before, they do their own research and they come to us asking for CBD if the client wants to know more about the treatments. All they do have to do is ask. So we could be using it in a colon massage, we could be doing it in a suppository, we could be doing it orally before they come into the clinic. If they've got piles or tears, there's the rub, there's the oil, there's lots of different ways that we use it, and also in enemas as well, which is amazing results that you see with clients that have got massive inflammation in the gut wall. It gets them in, as we've mentioned before, being in this fight and flight response, being tense, in lots of pain, to actually being relaxed, and the bowel being able to move. And that's the exciting bit, because as I always come down to, as my clients call me the PooFairy, it's about getting that bowel to move.
Right. So, and again, it's interesting because, you know, we know, and industry professionals know that, you know, CBD is CBD. Lots of questions. Is CBD different in cannabis or hemp? Is it different in full spectrum? Or we know that CBD is a single molecule. It's a single thing, single entity. And really, the questions that we get asked, and I'm sure you do as well, is, you know, what's the right CBD for me? So that opens up a conversation, because it's not about which CBD, it's about which application. I think you mentioned it just now about, you know, the tincture or the rubs. So do you find that as well? You find that patients come in, it's about matching the application of the CBD rather than the compound itself.
Most definitely.
And what, can you give me some examples?
Yeah, most definitely. So, you know, for instance, somebody's got really bad psoriasis or eczema. The rub is amazing. I've previously just had a client this week that was on so many different medications from the doctor. She was an elderly client, very vulnerable, and her daughter actually comes to me and has treatments, and a daughter messaged me, and she previously she takes the oil at the moment, and she was like, how can you help my mum? What can my mum, is there any way that my mum can get any help? So I gave the guidance and the support. She came and purchased it. Within a few days, the information had gone down, which is remarkable. And that's from her using medications over years and years and years and years. She started to feel comfortable, and especially at the UK at the minute, it's been really, really hot, which has been amazing. But not when you've got skin complaints. When you've got skin complaints, that can actually aggravate it even more. Sometimes it can heal it, the sun, but sometimes it can do the opposite effect.
Right. And do you find that generally, or is it case by case, that using CBD is like a one-off, or is it something like, you know, you use it now and you're on it for life? How does that kind of,
it's about
spectrums change?
Yeah, so it depends on the setting. So for instance, if that person is going through a difficult time, sometimes having CBD in their life at that present time will get that body to relax, and they're able to manage their day better. Being consistent with it is also a key. So not missing a few days. You need to be able to get it into the system, and then that will start to work. But it depends on, you know, each client by client. You know, you have to tailor it to suit their needs. So for instance, if somebody's coming to you and they are very unwell, they're taking lots of medications from their GP, you have to be working with their GP practitioner to make sure that you're doing things correctly, especially if they're wanting to reduce their medication. So we work alongside them to make sure that it's done in a controlled way. And when you see that light at the end of the tunnel, when they're not taking those medications anymore and they're taking CBD on a consistent basis, they do continue to take that because it makes them feel better. And also coming back to the gut bio, more importantly, yes, more research needs to happen regards to the gut bio and the treatments that we do within our clinic. It changes their life. They're awake, they're aware, they're able to see, they're able to feel, they're able to deal with stressful situations without going into complete panic mode and feel like they're having a nervous breakdown. So hopefully that's answered your question. If you want me to elaborate any more, I can do. But I look at each case by case. So
it's interesting because it's something that I learned going into the business a few years back, that or what I learned about the pharmaceutical industry, that it's very much, you know, shoeboxed.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what age or I mean, okay, body weight, yes, with dosing, but most medications, that traditional medications, are one shoe fits all. Doesn't matter who you are, you get told you need X milligrams per day for X number of days. And what we find, and hearing from you as well, it sounds very similar, with CBD, it really is, it's a very unique regime that people need to discover for themselves, depending on what, what their personal status is, what they're trying to achieve with it. And it really is that does make it very problematic for the pharmaceutical world, especially without the amount of data that we need. So I've got the golden question for you now, because we've been skirting around the topic. Medical claims. This is the golden topic, or the golden question in the business. We know that we sell this product as a food supplement. We are not allowed to sell it as a medicine. We cannot make medical claims. We cannot give medical advice. We cannot do anything apart from say, you can buy this product. Now, for us, most of our sales are either direct to consumer or to people like yourselves. How do you, because you're front line, you are real front line with people who are using it or considering using it. How do you deal with these things that you cannot say, or answers that you cannot give, even though you know the answer and want to give the answer? How does that work?
Oh, you have to hold yourself back all the time. And you have to pause, think, and steer. That's the only way of explaining it. So when a client comes to us, before we've even treated them, we do a full consultation with them, and we break it down. Why the reasons why they've come to us in the first place, and how we can help. So they actually get that guidance and support. But whether it's realistic as well, you have to be realistic with clients as well. Sometimes people want quick fixes. Things don't come in a quick fix. You have to break it down with them. So it needs to be achievable with our support. So at this point, we look at their lifestyle, we look at their medications, we look at their diet, we look at their well-being, we look at basically anything that's part of a problem in their life, but look at the positive things in their life as well. And then we put treatment options available to them and programs. Some of those programs are tailored detox and nutrition programs and wellness. And then with clients becoming aware and better educated about CBD, it regularly comes up as a topic in nearly every consultation. Just to help you understand, we normally have about 300 active clients at any one time, and over 2,000 clients in our database that come to us a few times a year. So when it comes to talking about CBD, we talk about it a lot.
So yes, I was asking you about pets. This is the other golden or the silver question.
Yeah.
We know that all animals, I believe all animals or mammals, have an endocannabinoid system shared with humans, and therefore CBD, in theory, can have the same beneficial effects on animals. We know in America, people are using it regularly. I mean, there's pet brands, there's cat brands, and dog brands. We get asked quite a bit, but we steer clear because the UK, the VMD, are very, very, very strict on what you can sell as a food supplement for animals. We were speaking this morning, you and I, and you mentioned the same thing happens. You asked the same question. How do you deal with that? What's your advice on that? Sorry, and do you treat animals with gut issues also?
Okay, you like to throw all the questions, don't you, at me? So 1 second.
No, don't.
So, oh dear. So basically, we have, let's break it down. So basically, I have one client in particular, and I do have the clients as well. And their vet basically recommended for them to get CBD. It was down to their vet's recommendation, and the recommendation is a part of the Veterinary Medicines Directorate. So they basically named us as basically to come and see us, and she basically wanted to purchase it for her horses and dogs. So all we did was provide her with the CBD that she wanted, and she requested the actual CBD oil in particular, and the dosage. So we just provided her with the product, and since then her horses and dogs, and she's got a farm, are doing very successful. I know for myself, I actually give it to my own dogs, especially when there's fireworks going off and they are in a stress state or in a stress situation. I make sure that I do give them CBD personally, but that's my personal use. But if a client wants to come to us and they've been advised by their vet, then we will provide them with the product that they've been requested.
So as far as you're aware, at least in the UK,
Yeah.
if a vet prescribes or recommends, then it can be purchased. And
Yes.
in that situation, people are coming to you and you're supplying. That's a nice situation to be in. And with your own dog, you give oil, it's a tincture, or you give something different?
Yeah, oil. I actually put it on some ham, and then he gobbles it up. I mean, I've got 5 dogs, so I've got a bit of a crazy house. So yeah, it's it works. It works. It really does. And when we took in a rescue dog that was pregnant, she was a rescue dog. She'd been really badly mistreated. We started giving her CBD straight away, and it made a massive difference to her. It calmed her nerves. She gave birth beautifully to 8 beautiful pups. Unfortunately, we lost one of them. But due to the fact, the circumstances that she'd been left half for dead, I think she did amazingly. I told the vet what I was doing. The vet was completely happy with what I was doing and said that we did an amazing job and to keep it up. So that says in itself, really.
Yeah, I think you said it just now as simply as it can be put, and I use the same expression a lot. CBD just works.
Yes.
It just works.
Yeah.
And I use that expression with a shoulder and an expression all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody speaks to me about, what's it good for, it just works. Maybe not for everybody, maybe not if you find the right dose, but it really is just works. And this has been really interesting. And I'm really glad that you gave us the time to come on the show today. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we tie up and move on with our day?
What do you see that's going to be the future for CBD?
Well, that's the platinum question. That's the future of CBD. I would say on the commercial side, on the regulatory side, I spend most of my days trying to understand what's going on with the various regulators and stakeholders in the industry. Anyone that's following what's been going on, whether it be the novel foods, EU, UK, or the UN talking about CBD being a narcotic, or the American, the Farm Bill, there are so many stakeholders around the world, for better and for worse, that have impact and interest in allowing or not allowing CBD in various forms. The future of it, in my mind, is it's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. The fact that it does just work, this is not like any other food supplement or compound we've seen that can work or might work in the right. This just works for so many people. I don't believe it can be taken away from the population. I think we are going to struggle to find appropriate ways to regulate CBD, but I do believe that within 12 months we'll be there. I believe within 12 months it'll be very difficult to find a bad product or a dangerous product. I think it will all be safe. I think the main retailers will be selling it, supplying it. I believe very soon that not just people like yourself, physicians, but doctors and everybody will understand what it does, what it can do. So in short, I think the future is bright for CBD. It might be a rocky road getting there, but
well, isn't everything a rocky road? Everything's a rocky road. It's like this.
If it's worth arriving at the end,
yeah, you got to hold on. You got to hold on to the ride. Hold on to the ride and hold on tight.
Absolutely.
For me, I believe that, if people were to listen to their gut has their best interest at heart, and most people don't listen to it. So for me, it's to help people understand, to remember there's experts out there like ourselves, as my clients like to call me, the PooFairy. But more importantly, understanding that how much CBD can make such a massive difference to them and how they feel is really important. And doing what we've done, finding the best provider out there and sourcing it the best way. And that's what you guys have done. So thank you for providing such an amazing products to us and helping our clients.
Thank you as well. Thank you for supplying them. Michelle, it's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you on here again very soon. Good luck with the business.
Thank you. Have an awesome day. Bye.